What is going on, YouTube? It is All Things Mets. We're your latest Mets media. Everything about the Mets on this channel. Definitely do me a favor, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And today we are going to be talking about the Mets and the Marlins. Luis Severino pitched really good in this game. The Mets ended up winning this game, but we're going to get into the key moments of the game, guys. Definitely, not a lot of offense, but definitely there was really good pitching in this game. And Luis Severino was really on point. His fastball looked good. His slider looked good. Definitely, I really like, Luis Severino and what he's doing with this team. He's looking like one of the best offseason signings, the Mets have made in some time. So, and he's only 30 years old, which is great. So we're going to get into, the key moments of the game, and that is going to be the bottom of the fourth, guys. There was a runner on third. Xavier Edwards, struck out looking, and this was a big strikeout by Severino. He got out of a jam there. A 1-0 game, there's always going to be pressure. And, that was good to see Severino get that big strikeout. And, he really did his thing there. And what I really like about Severino, is using that slider, using that fastball, mixing it up. That is something. And also the Francisco Alvarez connection and what he was doing with, what he does for Severino, what he does for many pitchers of the Mets. It's just really good to see. And another key moment, definitely, was the top of the fifth inning. JD Martinez lining into a double play. Obviously the Mets had some runners on base, but JD Martinez just seems to be struggling. He hit the ball hard, but, he hit it to third. It was a line out and then a double play. Francisco Lindor was doubled off there. But I don't know what's going on with JD Martinez. I think he's really been struggling. And you just hope that he does, come out of this, because JD Martinez is a really big part of the New York Mets. And, he's the big bat. He was the big offseason signing. This guy has to perform, and it's just been really sad to watch, because obviously JD Martinez was lighting the world on fire in June. So we'll see what happens with JD Martinez going forward. But I still really like JD Martinez. I love the signing. His average, I think, is down to 250 something now. It was 270. So the average is going down. He's just not getting the big hits. And he's the Mets cleanup hitter. So this guy has to perform. He has to come up big. He just hasn't been doing it. And baseball's an up and down season. It is what it is at this point. So we'll see what happens with JD Martinez. But yeah, guys, definitely another key moment was the bottom of the sixth, and that was Nick Gordon striking out, a big strikeout there. Definitely with runners on base. Nick Gordon came up in plenty of situations actually in this game, and, Luis Severino got that big strikeout with that fastball. And this was really a key moment because Luis Severino, there was runners on base for the Miami Marlins, and Mendoza came out and basically, had a conversation with him and basically said, this is going to be your last guy. This is going to be your last guy. And Luis Severino, Mendoza, they have that trust, and that's what I really like about that. So I like the Mendoza move, like trusting Severino. Good to see, because Severino came out and he threw that fastball 98 miles per hour, and got that big strikeout. So that was definitely a key moment. And then you go to the bottom of the seventh, runners on second. Jazz Chisholm strikes out, and, there was it was a runner on third, actually, because Francisco Alvarez missed the ball. I don't know, Francisco Alvarez, I like him catching, but he seems to be missing balls, letting balls pass him. That is something he has to work on. We know that Francisco Alvarez is not going to be the best catcher in the world, but you gotta, protect that plate. You are the catcher. You can't let balls get past you, So runner on third, guys. Brian De La Cruz struck out in the seventh inning. And this was a big strikeout for, Jose Butto. And I really like Jose Butto in that seventh inning role, bullpen role, whatever you want to say. I think he is a really big part of this bullpen now. And good on Jose Butto for just performing, doing his thing, because I really like this guy. His changeup is just a next level pitch. And it's something, that you got to take advantage, because the Miami Marlins, they have such a strikeout rate like crazy, high strikeout rate, chase rate. So you got to take advantage of that. But good to see, Budo in that seventh inning get out of a jam. And Francisco Alvarez, talking to Budo as well. And, basically saying, you got this, So that was also a key moment. And then you got the bottom of the eighth. You got Daniel Nunez, you got some runners on second and first. And Nick Gordon comes up in a big situation again. And he strikes out, on a Daniel Nunez fastball. So Nick Gordon struck out multiple times on a fastball, and I love it because you're taking advantage of these guys chasing. And Nick Gordon is a guy, that is going to chase. So you got to take advantage of that situation. And then in the ninth inning, you got Edwin Diaz, and, Edwin Diaz came to play, man. I really liked the way he was throwing. The slider looked good, the fastball looked good, and the Mets, basically got their first run on a Francisco Alvarez, ground out. So I really think when the Mets, you got to win this game. This was a huge, huge game for the Mets to win, especially losing yesterday. You got to get back some momentum. You got to get back on the streak. Obviously the All-Star break is over. You're in the second half. But when it comes to Edwin Diaz, this guy is huge. He has to be the guy that, stops everything. This is the stopper. This is the closer. This is the guy you want in the end, to close out games. And his fastball looked good. His slider looked good. And I feel like his mechanics is something that sometimes it looks a little off. But I really think Edwin Diaz is a big part of this team. And the Mets are going to go as far as Edwin Diaz is going to really take them. So, yeah, guys, that is going to be the recap. Let me know what you guys think about the Miami Marlins, about the Mets, about this game. Because when it comes to the Mets, this was a huge win. And now you got another game coming up tomorrow. Christian Scott is starting. And that is great, I hope Christian Scott gets a win, because he just has not got his major league win yet. And then also I want to get to some other news, and that is about Kodai Senga. And, Kodai Senga definitely pitched in AAA today. And he made his last start, in AAA. So he is probably going to be in the majors against the Braves in his next start. But, it wasn't a bad start. He got a couple of strikeouts, only allowed a couple of runs. But when it comes to Kodai Senga, he is a big part of the New York Mets going forward. And just like Garrett Cole to the Yankees, basically that's what Kodai Senga is to the Mets. So, yeah, man, that's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one, y'all. LFGM for life.